All right, I show it's 12:15. We're going to go ahead and get started. First of all, I'd like to call the meeting of the Northeast ISD School Health Advisory Council to order. Let the record show that a quorum of SHAC members are present. This meeting is in compliance with Section 28.004 of the Texas Education Code and applicable board policy. The council's meeting today will address only the topics on the agenda. No other topics will be discussed during the meeting. The SHAC meetings are open to the public. Guests wishing to address the SHAC may do so by emailing the SHAC committee at shac@neisd.net. That's SHAC@neisd.net. Any persons that causes disruption during the meeting will be asked to leave. Thank you for your cooperation. Please remember that health-related issues can sometimes generate passionate discussions with very different viewpoints. Please remain calm and respectful throughout the process. Please listen carefully with an open mind to identify critical facts and statistics that should be considered in decision-making rather than over-relying on opinions and emotions. Please keep the NEISD student health as your top priority to help discussions stay on track. The first item on today's agenda is member introductions. And so I'm going to go ahead and start. Hello, first and foremost, welcome and thank you to everyone who is returning, as well as all of our new SHAC members. We appreciate your service to your SMD, to your community, and to the students and faculty and staff at Northeast ISD. My name is Tony Kamen. On the self-introductions, if you'll tell us your name, what SMD you represent, maybe any fun facts of number of kids you have, that type of thing. So I'll go first. My name is Tony Kamen. I'm the SHAC chairperson. I represent the Johnson cluster. I have 4 kids and 1 wife who's she's a special ed teacher, so she gets to deal with me, and she does really a great job with that. My youngest is a senior in high school, and she will be going off to play softball this time next year. So very proud of her. So, and this is my swan song, my farewell year to the SHAC, unless somehow I get wrangled back in as a community member. But I don't think that's going to happen. I'll go ahead and turn it over to Bonnie.
Hi everyone, my name is Bonnie Scott. Last year I served as the secretary, so this is my second year serving as secretary, but I've been on the SHAC, I think this is my 3rd year. I represent David Byers district, and I have a middle schooler.
You want to go ahead? Here's the microphone. Please use the.
Hi, is that working? Okay. No, yes, no. Okay. Okay, hello. Here we go. I'm going to be a pop star. Sorry. I'm Christy Burguete, and I am, I don't know how long I've been on SHAC. I don't know. I forget. And not that long, though. And I have 3 kids. My youngest is a junior at Churchill, so I serve the Churchill cluster. And then I have a freshman at UT and a junior at OU. So we just had a most wonderful weekend in Dallas. And I was really sad because I love John Mateer. Okay, bye.
Hi, I'm Ann Farringer, and I'm new to the SHAC committee this year. I have a 6th grader at Jackson Middle School, and I'm looking forward to going to Churchill too, and I'm so glad to be here.
Hi, I'm Megan Lemus. I am here representing Roosevelt Cluster. My daughter is a junior at Roosevelt this year, and then my son is a 2019 alumni from Roosevelt, and he's in the Army in Japan.
I am Hallie Ramirez. I also am District 2, and I have 4 children. 2 go to Lee High School, so we're not at Roosevelt, and then 1's at Nimitz, and 1 is at East Terrell Hills. He's a 4th grader. Oh, and this is my 2nd year on the SHAC.
Hi, I am Robin Shainfeld. I represent MacArthur Cluster. I have a 6th and 7th grader at Bradley Middle School and a 2nd grader at Northwood Elementary.
I'm Sharon Glosson, and I work with the school nutrition department here at Northeast ISD. And so I'll be on the nutrition committee if you end up on that committee. And I have an 11th grader and a 6th grader in the district.
Hi, I'm Julie Magadance. I'm the Assistant Director in Counseling and Guidance under Learning Support Services here in the district. Our youngest is also a senior this year, so she'll be heading off to go play drums somewhere after this.
I'm Brandon Turner. I'm the program coordinator for PE in the district. This is my 5th year serving on SHAC, or being on SHAC, and 5th year in this role. I have 2 kids, but they're not. They don't go to Schertz, or they're in Schertz Civil. They don't go Northeast.
My name is Katie Steinhoff. I am the program coordinator for health for Northeast, so I serve on the classroom health and sex ed committee. And this is also my 5th year on the SHAC, but also in this role. And I do have 2 daughters who are 10 and 7, and they also are in the school district.
My name is Anna Mink. This is my 3rd year on SHAC, and I'm with the Madison cluster. I have 2 kids. My son graduated from Roosevelt last year and is in the Air Force, and my daughter is a senior at Roosevelt this year.
Hi, I'm Audrey County. I have 2 kids. 1 is at ISA, she's a sophomore, and 1 is a 7th grader at Nimitz, and this is my 1st year on the SHAC committee.
Hi, my name is Michelle Wilson. This is my 2nd year on SHAC committee. I've got 3 kiddos. The oldest is a junior at Reagan, the middle is an 8th grader at Bush, and the littlest is a kindergartner at Las Lomas, so I've started over.
Hi, my name is Erin Ross. I am on, 6, Reagan cluster. I got a little confused because my kids don't go to Reagan. Our elementary school splits between Reagan and Johnson, so I'm Reagan cluster, but my kids will go to Johnson. I have 3. 1 is in 8th grade, then I have 5th grade and 3rd grade, so I'll be at 3 schools next year. Fun fact, that sounds relaxing. And yeah, I feel like it's going to be good. And that's it.
My name is Kat Lodge, and I'm in District 6 as well, Reagan Cluster, and I have a 10th grader at Reagan and an 8th grader at Lopez Middle School. Oh, it's my 2nd year.
Debbie Freno, also from Reagan Cluster. 2 kids, graduated, proud graduates of Reagan High School, and for Sean's benefit, they both went and graduated at Texas A&M. Okay, that would get a reaction. So one's an aerospace engineer and one's in law school here in town. The one that's an aerospace engineer stationed up in Albuquerque with one of our national labs.
Jennifer Taylor, I'm with SMD 5. 4th-ish maybe year on SHAC. I have 1 kid, he's a junior at Johnson, and he desperately wants to go to A&M, so we'll see.
Everybody should.
I'm glad you said 4 because I was thinking this would also be my 4th year. I'm Ruth Whittington. I have 4 kids. I'm in the Johnson cluster as well. 2 of my kids currently go to Tejeda Middle School in 8th grade, and the other 2 go to Roan Forest Elementary School in the 5th grade. So next year I'll actually have some in Johnson and some in Tejeda. And then I myself actually grew up in the district. I went to Coker, Bradley, and Churchill.
Sean Metcalf. My wife is the mental health counselor at Johnson High School. Both of our kids graduated from there. My oldest is now working on her master's in library sciences, and my son is graduating in May. She graduated from A&M and now is at North Texas. But Marshall is a senior at A&M studying industrial distribution, trying to pick between 5 different job offers. So if you do go to A&M, there are job offers. Anyway, I am the clergy representative, the community representative here for The SHAC, this is year number 11 for me.
Just hold.
I'm just going to hold it.
Hi, my name's Melinda Cox. I am the school board trustee for SMD 5, the Johnson Cluster, and I'm here as your board liaison. I had 3 kids graduate from Johnson. Last one was 2023. I'm also the Smart Driving Club sponsor at Johnson, just in case you need that information. That's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you again for everybody's service to the SHAC. All right. The next item on the agenda is the election of the SHAC officer, the vice chair. So we have it's a 2-year term for the vice chair. There we go. And they will assist me in running the meetings, as well as serve as ad hoc on all of the 4 standing committees. It is a 2-year term, and so we have one person that has been that would like to serve. Do we have any other people that would? Anna, I'm sorry. All of a sudden, I went blank. Anna Ramsey is one candidate. Is there anybody else that would be interested in serving as the vice chair? Or would you like to nominate anybody else? Going once, going twice. All right. Looks like Anna Ramsey is going to be elected as the vice chair by acclamation. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Great. And Anna couldn't be here today. She's running a fever, and so she apologized for not being here, but appreciate your vote of confidence in her. All right, next on the agenda is the discussion and possible action on holding future SHAC meetings, dates and times. So what we have done in the past is we've kind of made it every third Wednesday of the month, or potentially every fourth Wednesday of the month. This one actually moved up because it was the importance of trying to have the meeting and the presentation by Dr. Micah. So does anybody have any heartburn if we move it to the fourth Wednesday of the month? That way it's always kind of on the schedule. Okay, we have a motion for the 4th. Is that what you said?
Oh, I was just asking about November.
Oh. Okay, that's a great point. So.
Well, I will raise the point that we have to have 4 meetings, correct?
We have to have 4.
4. So if we have more, great. So if we miss November, I'm just offering that as an option. If we miss November, December, there's still plenty of other months to get the meetings in.
Historically, we don't meet in December because even though there's 31 days, it's a short month as far as school learning is crammed into those. So we have not met in December in the past, so maybe we should reconsider December. I don't know about November and December, but at least
Right. We could basically call the December meeting off because of the holiday. And like you said, we typically wouldn't have a December meeting. So do you want to keep it as the third Thursday of the month, or is the 4th Thursday of the month kind of easier for everyone? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Thank you very much. The 4th Wednesday of the month. And of course that, I guess.
With the exception of November where we do the 3rd, the Wednesday.
Okay. With the exception of November, we would move it to the 3rd. All right. Mitch is willing. Right. So, any discussion? All right. So, let's plan on having, the meetings will be held on the on the fourth Wednesday of the month, with an exception of the month of November, which we would have it on the third Wednesday, and there would be no meeting in the month of December. So, I guess that's the motion. Do I have a second? We have a second? Okay, all those in favor? Aye? All those opposed, nay? All right, the ayes have it. Great. All right. The time will be the standard time. We start at 12:15, with lunch being available at 11:45. Oh, okay. Can we get a friendly friendly amendment to the motion on the time? We'll keep it at the same standard time, starting at 11:15 p.m. and going till, I'm sorry? Starting at, I'm sorry, I'm really, didn't have any coffee this morning. Yes. Okay. The fourth week of January? Okay, so the friendly amendment was going to be to add the time of the meetings starting at 12:15 p.m., running till 1:30. So we need to revote. So that's the revised minutes. All those in favor, or do we have a second? Sean, thank you. All those in favor, aye? Aye. All those opposed, nay? All right, the ayes have it. Thank you. All right, next on the agenda. Please review, as needed, the approval of the May 21st, 2025 minutes. Do we have a motion to accept the minutes? Yes. Okay, we have a motion. And we have a second. Thank you. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. And the ayes have it. All right, so. All right, next on the agenda is the Bond 2025 presentation by Dr. Micah, Superintendent of the Schools. Come on up, Dr. Micah.
I've never seen you wear that hat.
Oh, this is,
Usually CTJ.
well, this is where my daughter's going to go play softball next year, Biola University.
Where the free money is.
No, I wish.
Where the free, that's a smart choice if that's where the free money is.
Well.
That's where I'd go too. Jacob, are you going to drive this for me? Hey, look at that. That's behind every superintendent's a better team. That's got you organized and ready to go. So good afternoon. How are y'all? All righty. So I'm going to cover this in a little bit of time, but everybody owns a home in here, right? Good. All right. Anybody have a tie to Madison High School by chance? Anyone at all? Nobody at all. Well, gosh, if there's nobody here, how can I tell you it's your fault that we're doing this? So I'm going to run through this, and I don't know, Mr. Kamen, you can tell me if we have time for questions at the end and how long we have, all right? Thank you for inviting me, but I want to begin, and I always begin with explaining, this is why I got into education, right here, kids. Like, this truly is what motivates me every day to come into work and do the things that we need to do. The young man in the cowboy hat, JW, he's a Churchill grad. That young man is the only student from the state of Texas that competed at the Electrical National Championship in Atlanta this past summer. To his right is Carlos. He is a graduate of Roosevelt High School. He was the only young man in the state of Texas to go on and compete at nationals in HVAC. Now look, neither of those young men won. That doesn't matter, because JW is right now up in Waco at TSTC. He will, in about 8 months, graduate with a lineman degree, making $125,000 a year with 0 college debt, by the way. The reason being is because he competed 2 years in a row, he was awarded a lot of different scholarships that actually paid for it all. Carlos took a different path. He didn't choose to go to college. In fact, he's helping run his dad's HVAC business right now. Both those young people are going to be super successful. You probably don't know this about me, but I used to actually build homes before I got into education. I don't come from a family of educators at all. There's a reason I don't build homes anymore, because buildings and bonds make me feel like that top right picture. They don't get me excited. They don't get me motivated each and every day, but I'm doing this because a fragment of our community and our staff said that you need to do this November, and I'm going to tell you that story. So it really begins May the 26th of 2021 at Madison High School. That's why I asked if any of you are from that area. Do you know what happened that day? Because it was a pretty significant moment in my time and a pretty significant moment in this story. You're enjoying the air conditioning in here right now, right? Yeah, they didn't have it that day. It went out. And I will tell you, nobody cares about HVAC till it doesn't work. Then everybody cares deeply about it because they're uncomfortable, kids and students. And look, I'm not going to tell you that doesn't happen periodically in our district. Sometimes we lose HVAC or we lose heat, but normally we can go in and get it up and going. And the problem this time is we couldn't. And the reason being is that those chillers at Madison High School were on R22 refrigerant. If you don't know about that, that was very old refrigerant that started to become phased out in 2003, became obsolete in 2010. So there was no fixing it. Now, as a homeowner, have you ever replaced your HVAC? How much did it cost you roughly? I'm guessing somewhere, well, I usually hear too much. Somewhere between 7 to 15 is typically what I've heard. Those chillers were $2 million over at Madison. And so I will tell you, as a homeowner, I hate unexpected bills, and I hated this as a superintendent because we just didn't have $2 million sitting around, but we had to repair it. I started asking, hey, how come we didn't know this? And more importantly for me is, why in the world was this not in the 2011 and the 2015 bonds? And so I kept saying, like, yeah, how come? And I asked a lot of questions, and look, quite frankly, the easiest answer I could say is I wasn't here, and so it was somebody else's problem, but I don't believe that's actually what happened. How many of you, or have you ever had the good fortune to travel Lookout Road from 1604 to Wurzbach Parkway? What's that road like? Like, it's probably the worst road in the history of this country, right? We are really poor about keeping up with things, but we're really good about building new stuff. As a country, as a nation, when you look and read the different reports about our crumbling infrastructure as a country, whether it's bridges or water or whatever, I think that's a lot of what we were doing here as well. Think back to 2011. If you lived in the district, we were growing rapidly, actually. I don't know, were you all around in Northeast in 2015? Yeah. Do you know what the big controversy in that bond was? Anyone? Whether to build a new elementary school on Bulverde Road in the Rosehart subdivision or not. You remember that? Yeah. It was massive. It was huge. In fact, I was a principal back then at Harris, but I remember going to a few meetings where people got very mad about that and wanted that to be in the bond. I will tell you today in 2025, thank goodness we didn't do that, because you don't need it, right? So I think that's it, is really we were focused on growth and we weren't necessarily focused on maintaining those things. This bond and the way that the facility steering committee tackled it, I will tell you, is that they're moving in their mind from a growth mindset to a maintenance mindset, and you'll see it as they go through. So when that happened, I spent the next 2 years going around and looking for a vendor to come in and do a facility assessment. We can look at the building and tell, hey, this place is in good shape. But we don't see the roof, we don't see behind the mechanical, and we don't see the plumbing in the walls. And so that's what I was really looking for is, and I'll give you an example. Do you know the oldest high school main building we have in the district? The oldest main building at a high school. What do you think? So you think Lee, Churchill, it's Reagan, y'all. Yep. See, MacArthur, remember, got pretty much torn down and rebuilt. Roosevelt got extensive modifications, so did Lee, so is Churchill. Reagan is our oldest building that we've never touched. Does that say it should be torn down? Absolutely not. It looks great. But in behind the doors and in behind the walls, you have things that are issues. And I'll get to that here in a minute. So I went around and looked for that because what we think we know and what we think is true and what's actually true sometimes don't mesh. And so I spent those 2 years looking for a company to come in and do a facility assessment. Come in and tell us the state of our district or the district's buildings. And for 2 years I came up empty, just so you know. In fact, twice when I was in Austin at a very large convention, the folks laughed at me and told me that they'd never had a superintendent ever want that done. I said, but how do I ever plan for anything if I don't know what we have? So finally, in March of 23, I started giving up hope because I couldn't find anybody. So I turned to my CFO and I said, I want you to put this out to bid. Let's see if there's a company that I don't know about that actually wants to bid on it. So I put it out to bid. Anyone want to take a guess how many bids I got? 0. Sir? I got 0. Nobody would touch it again. So we put it back out again for bid. Again, thinking certainly there has to be a company out there that do it. That time we got 1. All right? Except they wanted almost twice as much money as we could afford to do. So that was off the table. So we turned to a co-op that we're a member of, and we found a company named Gordian. Gordian said, hey, we can do that. We're actually a firm. We kind of specialize in it. We can do it, and they came in slightly under what we had budgeted. So that was a good deal for us. The Board of Trustees approved them in 23, and you can see August the 24th, they came and presented to the board and to me that evening. So it took them almost a year. All right? What I love about what Gordian said is, Northeast, you're in a great position. You can pick your projects don't pick you. Except Madison High School picked me, right? This summer, Reagan High School picked me with their chillers, another $2 million. Now, you're all taxpayers. These are your buildings, all of them. You're a taxpayer, you own them. I am your property manager. That's my job. All right? How many buildings you own? And I'm not counting portables. I'm talking every building at a campus, every district property. What do you think? And a lot is not an answer. 100. Okay? 600. Too low, too high, too high. Okay, it's 458 buildings. We're going to get to the harder question in a minute. Now let's talk about portables. By the way, they are not portable. They move in, they never leave. In fact, they are the bane of my existence. They do not. They are so expensive once you move them in to get them out that they literally just stay put. How many portables do you think we own? 240. 240. So 458 buildings and 240 portables. Now the real question, how many square feet is that? Because that's what I wanted, and that's what Gordian helped me realize. 2 million. You're a little low. You're still too low. Just north of 12 million square feet. Yep. It's a lot. That's what they helped us realize. And when you're managing 12 million square feet, you really got to know what it is. Now, Here's the beauty of it. As a taxpayer, you're never going to pay for this again. Gordian did it one time. They created a dashboard for us, and they created it exactly the way I asked for it, in 4 tiers. Priority 1 projects are Madison or Reagan's chillers. If you don't fix them, they're going to pick you. All right? Priority 2 is if you can take care of your priority 1, you better start working on priority 2 because they're the next items that are going to start. Priority 3, hey, you got some time. You got 5, 7 years, maybe 10 years. And then priority 4, when we replace the chillers at Reagan, they are now a priority 4 issue. They've got 25 years before they need to be fixed. Does that make sense? So as long as Ms. Caldwell, our Chief Operations Officer, and her people keep updating in that system, in that dashboard, it just moves it from a tier 1 down to a tier 4, and then it starts ticking its way back up again. So never again. Now, we took that data and we created what's called a Facility Steering Committee. Notice it doesn't say bond committee. Their job was not about a bond. Their job was to help us develop a 5-year plan with these facilities. So when they got the data, they quickly realized there was way too much to try to accomplish as one big group. So they broke up into subgroups. Technology, transportation, building maintenance, you get the picture, right? They met 11 times, 2 to 2.5 hours. Like, they met a long time. And they created different rubrics to figure out about these projects because what they were talking about are wants and needs, all right? The way I always look at it is, so my wife and I last week celebrated our 31st wedding anniversary, all right? I know, congratulations to her. She deserves a trophy. But about every, I'll say, I'm a big golfer. Anybody golfing here by chance? Or husband golfs, maybe? Or spouse? So about every 5, 6 months, my wife and I do this fun dance. I come to her and say, honey, if I got this new putter, I will shave 3 strokes off my round. And it's only $400. She promptly tells me we're not buying that, and I move on because she explains to me that's a want and not a need, because she's correct. I have a putter. I don't need it. That's a want. That's exactly how the Facility Steering Committee went about it. I want you to know that on this, I asked the Board of Trustees each to appoint 1 parent and 1 community member to this Facility Steering Committee. The reason there was a community member on it is because 68% of our single-family homes in the district don't have school-age kids in them. And they are taxpayers and own these buildings too, and their voice needed to be on it. I did appoint a few people. I've had the question, I love how people tell stories, that I stacked this committee with people that were going to think like me, factually incorrect. In fact, the very first person that I asked to serve, I met him right here in this board meeting, in this boardroom. He was standing there, I was sitting here, and he was yelling at me that if I didn't do my job, he was going to do it for me. So I put him to work and put him on the Facility Steering Committee. And he came in because he does not have kids in our school, by the way. He is a volunteer. And he came in wanting certain things for his school that he volunteers at. He quickly learned at the end of this, he said to me, hey, you were right, those were wants and not needs. I saw the true need in our district. So you can see here the time frame. They started meeting in December, and they went all the way to June. In June, they came and presented to myself and to the board with their recommendation. They presented to me as well because I only went twice. Night 1 was to thank them for volunteering of their time, because it did take up a lot of their time, and we handsomely rewarded them in cheap chips and soggy sandwiches. Night 2, the time I went, now look, 31 years of marriage, my wife has told me for, 10 now, you're a horrible listener. You don't listen to me. She's wrong, and I can prove it. The second night I was there, I was sitting in the room, and somebody on the Facility Steering Committee said, don't you think the superintendent should be here to listen to this? And they said he is. He's behind the column. I was sitting listening. It wasn't about me, not my buildings. All I was is sitting and listening to them discuss it so that I could understand how they were thinking and what they were thinking about. So they recommended a $495 million bond for this November. The Board of Trustees then, on 11th of August, voted to call that election. What's not on here is the August the 4th meeting, where the Board of Trustees invited members of the Facility Steering Committee and those subgroups to come in and present to them as to why they chose one project and not another. They wanted to understand it. Here's the key. The board, while they could have made changes to the recommendation, changed nothing. I too could have made changes, changed nothing. Exactly what the Facility Steering Committee said to do is what was kept in check. Now, do you live here in 11 or 15? Before I move on, anybody? Okay, if you voted back then, I sure hope you did, this is a very different bond. Back then you voted one time. You were for or against a bond. That is not how they work any longer. You're going to see now 5 different propositions on that ballot. All right? That is by law how it has to be broken out. You can see Prop A is the bulk of this bond. You are smart people. You already know what's in Prop A. It's HVAC and air handlers, mechanicals, those are the boilers and plumbing. Anybody have a tie to Tejada Middle School in here? Anybody? Yeah, so, you know, this funny little thing happens at Tejada every now and then. So the vent pipes that bring the sewer gas out of the building spontaneously rupture. When they rupture, it releases, you're shaking your head like you've experienced this. So bad. It releases the sewer gas into the building, the air handlers pick it up, and now it starts to spread it through that academic wing. Those are the types of things that Gordian helped us see that the Facility Steering Committee said those are needs and they are not wants. All right, you can see roofing. Different roofing or buildings around need new roofs. Those are the things that they picked. School safety and security. If you've ever gone to our campuses, have you ever attended one where there's no secure entry vestibule? You just, once you're through the door, you're into the building. You know secure entry vestibule is those glass areas. 31 of our schools don't have them. So the Facility Steering Committee said those are important. Every campus should have one. They also, when you see security, that's really about the cameras. We have a lot of cameras in our schools. Some of them are the old analog ones, so if you ever see them, they're really long. They're saying replace those. Buses and parking, if you've ever had a child ride a bus, the route bus, that's what you're seeing in your communities. We like to replace buses at 10 years old and 200,000 miles. The average route bus right now is 14 years old with 230 to 260,000 miles on it. On average, a typical route bus puts on 15 to 18,000 miles a year. As a result, the Facility Steering Committee said, we recommend you do some buses. They also said to fix parking lots. So there are parking lots all over the district that have holes in them or breaking, and so not just sometimes repair them, but truly fix them. This last one is something, again, you guys don't worry about HVAC till it doesn't work. Nobody really worries about cybersecurity a whole lot till there's a breach. Did you see the news about 3 weeks ago with the school district in Texas that closed for a week? They were subject to a ransomware attack. Unfortunately, it was Uvalde. All right? We are not immune from that as a district. In fact, the larger you are, the bigger the target normally you become for cyber people. November the 11th through the 18th of 24, we had over 923,000 cyber attacks in that 7-day period. This year, on August the 14th, we experienced just over 16,700 cyber attacks in 2 minutes. There is no human being that can do that, by the way. Do you know what's generating it? AI. Yep. As a result, because we possess so much staff, parent, and student data, the Facility Steering Committee said, you guys need to make sure you have a good cybersecurity component. Prop B then drops to technology. They said that all student devices need to be replaced. The reason they made that decision, to what I understand, is because if you're a parent, all All of our state mandated testing is online. As a result, they said they need good devices. They also recommended replacing all the teacher devices. We haven't updated those, I think, in 8 or 9 years. Updates to the front office, those are really when you come in and you get scanned in through Raptor or any of that, those are all those folks in the front. We've never upgraded their computers, so it's that. And then last is replacing career and technical education labs. So for JW and Carlos that I showed you earlier, it's replacing those. Athletics. This is focused at Blossom Athletic Center. All right? Anybody ever visit Littleton Gym before? Okay? Do you know when it was built? 68. Okay? You're all too young in here. You don't know what 1968 looks like. But, hey, I was throwing you a bone there. Come on. Look, if you, because I'm too young, I don't know what 1968 looks like, but you can take time travel and go see it. Go to the bathroom. Like you can see 1968. We have never updated that facility. The reason they chose that as a priority is because all of our students throughout the district, K through 12, use it. Elementary age uses it for young masters, for evening with the strings and different things, up through middle and high school for awards, through athletic events and such. The soccer fields and baseball, that is not building new ones, that is putting new lighting on those fields. Softball dad, that's actually turfing the softball fields in front of wood to match the boys' field that's at the sports park. They believe that was a Title IX issue, that they're not equal.
It's not that we believe, it is a Title IX issue.
So, I'm not speaking on behalf of that committee, sir. And then the tennis center, they said to resurface the courts and then fix the ones that have water intrusion, so there's actually water underneath them, and they're starting to crack. That is a huge revenue generator for us, and it is busy morning, noon, and night. The tennis center is always being used. That additional storage and equipment space, that is for the pool and for the tennis center. If you've ever been to the tennis center, there is no storage. The storage is in the little room where you're supposed to go to the bathroom and stuff. They use it for storage right now. So then it drops to stadiums. Now, this is not building a new stadium. If you've ever seen online, North Texas loves to build stadiums at $150 million a stadium. They look like Jerry Jones World. That's not what this is. This is about maintaining the 2 stadiums that we have. One is to re-turf both. The reason being is turf has a life expectancy of 10 years. We're on year 8. All right? Locker room, plumbing, roofing, and lighting. Again, not a new stadium, no palatial stuff. It's literally maintaining the things that we have. And then the last is the natatorium. If you were around in 15, the Bill Walker Pool got extensive upgrades in that bond. This is really focused at the Josh Davis Pool. Roof covering is a new roof and some new windows. And then they recommend putting dehumidification devices in both pools. If you've ever attended a pool, it's pretty steamy in there. So, if you are wondering what is all in that bond, if you haven't already looked, you can go to that QR code. You can sort it. Jacob also has a magazine to pass out to you. You can sort it by campus, by cluster, by proposition, however you would like. Now look, everybody, I'm a taxpayer as well. I live in the district. It is not going to increase your tax rate, and I'm going to explain how that happens here in a minute, but it's not. Even though it is going to say in 40 font on the ballot, this is a property tax increase. It, by law, must say that. But it is not an increase. How does that happen? A couple ways. One, since 2012, our CFO has saved the taxpayers $193 million on the bond side of the debt, of the tax rate. He did it just like you and I would save money with our homes. One, he's been making early payments, paying down debt early, and refinancing the debt. Just like when COVID hit, I refinanced my house at 2.5%. They did those things as well. And since 2015, we've actually lowered the bond debt, or the INS side of your tax rate, 6 times. Have any of you experienced a decline in your taxes? Me either, by the way. In fact, the only thing mine has done has gone up. So how is that possible? How can we actually be lowering your rate, but your taxes are going up? Property values. That's it. Anybody live in the MacArthur area in here? That happens to be the largest property evaluation growth, is Mac. Right next is Lee, then Roosevelt. It's not the Johnson and Reagan cluster. But I will tell you, I refute some of that from my CFO, because my home since 2017 has gone up 100% since I bought it. As long as property evaluations continue to skyrocket, that is set by Bexar County, these types of decreases will never be felt. I just wonder, I know that on the ballot is to increase the homestead exemption to 140. If they increase it to 140, but our evaluations rise, you and I will never see any relief from it. That's just how it's operating. I don't have to tell you we're good stewards of your tax dollars. TEA does it for me. 22 years in a row, we've received the highest rating that TEA awards, and we anticipate it for our 23rd. But my favorite fun fact, which I don't think is the state of Texas, is that bottom one. There are 1,200 school districts in the state of Texas. You're in the 16th cheapest run district. Houston ISD, though, who runs that right now? TEA. They're 202nd. They can't run it as cheap as we do. That is by their data, by the way, by the Texas Education Agency's data, not mine. So I took a look across the area to see, hey, are we going out for bonds? Are we doing something different that stands out? I didn't see anything. I took a look across the state at peers like us. Hey, are we standing out in some weird way? I didn't see it. The answer is just simply no. Bonds cannot give teacher pay raises. They cannot. But I do, and I want to remind you that this past session, they actually gave teachers with 3 to 4 years of experience $2,500 raise, and teachers with 5 years plus a $5,000 pay raise. I've been asked, well, why don't you use the money that the state gives you every year to do these projects? Quick lesson in your taxes. There's INS, which is so you pay to Northeast. I get that. But it's made up of 2 rates. M&O, maintenance and operations. That's the money that we get from the state of Texas. That is for the day-to-day operations. Keeping the lights on, keeping the air on, fueling our buses, paying our teachers, so forth and so on. INS is the interest and sinking side of that tax rate. That is for bond debt. That is for capital improvements. The state of Texas set it up exactly that way because you own the buildings as a tax group. You have to decide what to do with them, not from that. M&O was never designed to take care of the projects that are listed. So you're too late to register to vote. Hopefully you've already registered, but early voting starts Monday. Runs through the 31st, and the election day is the November the 4th. Now I'm going to leave you with this. Whether you vote for or against this bond, please go vote. I need some direction. The community needs to say what they want to do with their assets, right? 2 is know the facts. It's not an increase. But again, as I explained to you, if property valuations continue to skyrocket, folks, it's just going to continue. And then tell your friends to vote, whether they're for or against it. That's what we need to know. So, questions? Mr. Kamen, we got some time? Okay. Any questions from the group that I can answer or maybe can't answer? They have no
I was going to say, I can tell you, I was on the steering committee, and it was very important, I think, by everyone involved, was that we did not want to raise or to increase the taxes to anyone, and so we got to the point where, to that number of that 490 million, dollars based off of that, with where there would not be any increase to the taxes to anyone. And so, could we have gone higher? Yes, we could have, but then of course, then all of us as taxpayers would be paying more in taxes. Could we have gone lower? We could have, but then we wouldn't have met so many of the things that are needed. And that's the key thing there, is the items that were needed and not just wanted. And so I can attest for that, and so I just figure I'd throw that in there. Thank you, Dr. Micah. All right, next item on the agenda is the standing committee selection. So on your table at each of the SMDs, there is a list of the 4 standing committees that we have, and it has been standard operating procedure is that if you have returning SHAC members, that they have the opportunity to remain on the standing committee that they were serving on, if they so choose. But if they decide that they want to mix it up and do something different, that's available. And so there's a sheet for each SMD. If you will please find your name and put down your first choice as well as your second choice of the 4 standing committees that you would like to serve on. What we're going to do is collect those and then place each of you on one of the standing committees moving forward. Okay, was everybody able to fill out their selections? All right. I'm going to take it that was positive. All right, so the next item on the agenda is our adjournment, but before we adjourn, Mitch was so kind to look at the upcoming meeting dates. So we are going to move that November meeting to November 19th. We will not have a December meeting. The January meeting will be January 21st. The February meeting will be February 25th. The March meeting will be March 25th. The April meeting, there are, I guess, 5 weeks in April, so it's going to be on April 22nd. And then the May meeting would be on May 27th. For everyone's, May 27th, yeah. With that, it is 1:12, and I'm going to call the adjournment. Unless anybody has any questions. We're adjourned. It's 1:12. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And again, thank you for your service. We'll have everybody's broken out into their different standing committees at the next meeting. Thank you all very much.